Yeah, yeah.
Adam, right?
I'm one of the people, but she's the president.
Good to meet you.
There's no Adams here, right? No. So.
You want to tell us?
Colin.
Want to tell us what happened?
Yeah, Patrick Emerine stood up in front of the judge and kind of grandstanded and acted like a professional victim for about like 20 minutes straight, taking examples of a situation and basically sometimes in some instances he was just directly lying. One of the things that really got under my skin while I was in court was he said that I was saying to the officers, I brought up Beasley, and never at any point in time in my engagement with the officers did I bring up Beasley. I brought up Johnny Hurley, and I never said Beasley's name, and he was acting as if I was making fun of a dead man in front of the judge, which is it's so messed up, and
He did that the last time as well.
Yeah.
All three, your motions hearing, the trial, and today.
yeah. I even noticed behind the judge to the left there was a little booklet that they had propped up facing me. It said something about sovereign citizens on it, below it. Patrick Emerine's basically stated that I was doing what I do to try and make money off of it, to try and elicit a lawsuit, which is not at all true. Completely disregarded the fact that I've had past experiences with Arvada police, which why would he bring that up necessarily? But he tried to like prose it as to the judge, like, why would a person do this? Why would they be so hate-filled? And why would they act this way? It's like, man, your police department pulled me over in a case of mistaken identity and pulled a gun on me and a felony stop and pointed it straight at my face. You don't think that would make somebody angry? It's just like, yeah, like when I realize who some of these people are that are in law enforcement in Arvada and they're getting what they're getting away with, that's what people care about what affects them most in their lives usually. If they got somebody with cancer in their family, they're going to care about cancer a lot more. Not everybody has all the time in the world to be, a priest or something like that, or walking around, spreading the word of like Bible or the science and stuff like that. But to paint me as like a hate-filled person because I want to assert my rights is pretty messed up.
Did you get to address the court, or did you?
Yeah,
lawyers
I stood in front of the court and I
Like-
talked to the judge for like 5 or 6 minutes. I had a little bit of a couple of things written up about how I do community service, about how I've got quite a few friends in the area, about how I put my efforts and stuff into some of the parks departments in the area, putting effort into cleaning them up, work days, stuff like that. I told her that I'm working. I started off, I said, hey, look at my hands. This dirt on here isn't because I'm sleeping outside, it's because I'm working every day. I've got skills that I use, and yeah, I don't work a 40-hour job. I like to be independent. I don't like I don't like the nanny state of the government trying to hold my hand or anything like that, but if I can find the work on my own, that's the way that I want to do it. Is I want to be my own man and stuff like that. The PSI was a little bit messed up. They've got 2 probation officers in there, and the one that I met with, her name was Emily. It wasn't like the worst PSI, but her recommendation off of it and some of what she said, she said, have you ever tried other drugs in your life? And I was like, that was when I was like 20. I did cocaine one time, and she wrote it in there that I had like substance issues or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, no, I said specifically to you, I'm like, I think it's dumb. Like I smoke marijuana, but I had a medicinal card for it. Patrick Emerine tried to make this correlation just because like I admitted that I smoked marijuana. So just, hey, if you ever talk to a PSI or probation person, don't fucking tell them anything. Even if you smoke weed and it's legal in your state, they're still going to try and use it against you because they're going to try and make this correlation that, hey, it's psychologically affecting you, and that's why you do what you do. Is because it's just like some kind of like a psychosis from doing marijuana, and tried to make that stretch. The judge didn't go for that one, luckily. They recommended, even Patrick, before we went in there, came up and talked to my public defender and said, we're trying to get 9 months. Emily from probation told me, hey, I was going to recommend 6 to 9 months. Well, I ended up getting a year of probation.
Do you think that was retaliatory because we were here today?
I don't know. They did bring you guys up, say that you were out in the lobby, called you all my associates and stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, we might have like-minded, you know, ideas about certain things, but I haven't even met 3 of you out here before, so that's kind of a stretch. I was like not sure. I saw a couple of people in court uniforms and stuff, tasers, like extra security walking around. I'm sure you guys got a couple of videos of them maybe, but I was kind of like thinking to myself, well, what, did something happen out there? Like, was a scene caused? Is that gonna,
there was
like,
a scene. It just wasn't big scene, but that guy was stirring his shit up in there with me and just.
Yeah, but they didn't. We
But I
didn't
kept it
start
cordial.
the
Me,
scene.
He kept trying that shit,
Yeah.
but
We didn't
Security
start
guard,
the
right?
scene.
yeah, but
And
he
the
was
code
fucking bumping
enforcement
into me,
officer.
bro. He was fucking like acting like, what are you doing, questioning me? You questioning me? And I could tell when he took that breath, Howie. That was that time, place, and manner. And he was gonna try to tell me to leave because I couldn't be in there doing that. But see how he didn't? But I said, fuck shit ass damn bitch. I said bird, floor, whatever, blue. I said these are all words. I said chill. And
Shake
then I
and
said
bake.
chill. And then he got up and he was like going around the corner. He ran
So-
into me like that. And he was like testing, bro. That's where. And then
Yeah.
the cop came out and he said,
Getting in
"Stop
your
being
space."
disorderly out here." He said the cop like looking at me, and I was looking at the cop too, like, bro, like chill. So he kept trying to make a.
So,
he
I'm
kept
getting a
trying to
lot
make
of-
something about something, but no one really popped off.
Did you guys go downstairs?
Yeah,
I did go downstairs.
I did go down.
I was told at one time by the security too, like they were like, "Oh, you can film up here, you can be in here
Yes, they
and
said
stand
that
here."
to
but
me, and
the
we
second
said-
I tried to go down the stairs, they were
What
like,
do you
"You're not
do?
Hey,
allowed down
Kings,
there."
one more question.
You got loud
Because
with you?
I'm on a live
It was
right now.
a
Kings-
female
Oh, you're on
security.
live? My bad.
Yeah,
My bad.
yeah,
Howie.
no, one more question. So, a lot of confusion on your appeal. So, you've appealed your case, correct?
Yeah.
With the city of Arvada and Jefferson County, correct?
Yeah. I actually had to go to 3 different places to drop off the paperwork. I started here. It was a $250. They're gonna charge you, and it doesn't matter if you don't have a ton of money or whatever. They're gonna charge you $250 deposit, non-refundable, whether your appeal is granted or not granted, to get transcripts, and that helps initiate the appeal. Then you need to take the paperwork over to this squirrel. He's just chilling with us.
How about this now? Is your sentence on stay?
They did a partial stay on the probation.
Okay.
There is like fees and fines and stuff,
Right,
and that's stayed for the time being.
right.
But as far as the actual supervision, like conditions and stuff, I still need to follow. It's what I've got in my pocket. They're still gonna be able to call me up and say, "Hey, we need you to come in." I'm not supposed to be doing alcohol until I get my med card. I'm not supposed to have any marijuana. They restricted my Second Amendment rights. They're like, you're not allowed to use, possess any kind of weapons or anything like that. And I said, well, if I went to a gun range, I'm not allowed to go to a gun range and shoot at a gun range. And they're like, no, I'm not allowed to do that. And my crime was not violent or anything like that. So I don't understand why some of these conditions are imposed on people for
'Cause you're not
probation.
Because
Now-
you're an auditor. It's just
now
put
let me
restrictions
ask
on your
you-
life, bro, to make sure you ain't out here having rights.
Let me ask you this one now. What's your plan here, therefore, then? I mean, what? You just gonna keep on fighting it, do your probation? And...
They tried to tell me that the minimum payment plan so up on top of the 12 months probation, I have a $750 fine.
Okay.
Patrick and Marine tried to get what I actually believe was over what the statute allows for the fine, and he tried to request $2,650. I think the maximum allowable was $2,000. Judge said $750, but I'm going to drop that down. Probation, like if you mess up probation or you get in trouble, then it'll be $750, but it's going to be $250 if you don't get in trouble. So they stayed a portion of the fine that I have to pay.
How about the orders of protection? What happened?
They didn't do anything with that. My public defender actually told me that he was going to bring that up and address that in court in previous meetings and stuff with him about it, because that was one of my most concerning things. You know, it allowed Patrick Emerine to go up there and lie about what happened and paint a completely different picture. And I said to the judge, well, one of the things that he's trying to do is basically rewrite what actually happened, because some of these things didn't happen. I didn't solicit any kind of anybody else to do anything. No call to action, no threats of violence, no harassing. I took a publicly accessible piece of information that any of us could go down and pay for through the government, and then share it, disseminate it to others. And that's all I did.
I noticed one thing. He was trying to say that these videos were for intimidation and all that.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to say.
And not one bit of intimidation, no phone calls or anything like that. Like, was there any proof of that?
No, there was
Yeah,
no
exactly.
proof. There's a lot of conjecture. There is a lot of conjecture by what he said in trying to prejudice the judge against me. I swear, he was so close to calling me Eric Brandt again. He was like, you know what these people do with the cameras and stuff like that. They try to make government officials look bad, and then all of a sudden you're running into a situation where judges' lives are getting threatened and stuff like that. And he didn't say, you know, like, he might be like Eric Brandt. He didn't say that again, like he
Yeah,
did
but him
last time.
insinuating that shit is bullshit to say that. Yeah,
That's totally
bringing that shit
prejudicial.
up is just kind of bias in a sense, trying to paint you out to be something that. What are we talking about right here now at this point? You know what I mean? Yeah. That
A
had
lot,
nothing
a
to do
lot
with
of
your
what he
case.
said, I like kind of like gave my public defender like an elbow once or twice. I'm like, this has nothing to do even with the case. This is like he's talking about like my personal life, trying to like portray other opinions and stuff like that as something relevant to my case.
Trying to sway the court. Is what you know.
Hey,
Can I ask you a question?
what's up?
Okay, you said $250 to get transcripts.
Yeah.
When you were in there, was there a stenographer
Yes. Well, they have somebody sitting there, but
in front of the judge?
to the right of the judge.
Okay, that's a clerk. Okay, but a stenographer sits in front of the judge at the
Yeah.
same, next to the jury, next to the witness box.
Yeah, and they'll be
So
punching it
when
up
you had
as
a
it
trial,
goes.
or was there a stenographer typing everything?
I don't believe so.
Okay, then there's not going to be a transcript, right? So you understand that you to appeal, you need a transcript, but there's not going to be one because there was no. See, all this stuff that was being said.
Well, they audio record it. My
that's
understanding
not
is
a transcript. though.
my understanding is they audio record it, and then they send out the audio recording to a private company or a private contractor
Okay.
to then, like, maybe they're
So
a
there is a
stenographer,
record.
but they're
Okay.
at home stenographer.
Okay, so they're going to do the record of
Yeah,
that way.
And I honestly think that with the amount of time that I've been in here doing motions and seeing the judge and stuff like that, it was kind of intentional. Like, they would take a motions hearing, and we would schedule it for late in the afternoon, 3 p.m., and it would go on for like 2 hours, and it's like, okay, we couldn't get to everything that we were trying to get to, so we're going to extend it. We're going to have another motions hearing on the same motions that they couldn't just schedule it for one time. So I think that actually kind of just extends it with formalities and stuff like that, and that just means that I'm going to have to pay more in the long run. I don't know how much it's going to be, but that $250 is a deposit, so whatever
Yeah.
they get quoted, I'm going to have to pay the difference.
Right.
On top of that.
If this is in fact a court of record.
Yeah.
If it's not a court of record, then you get a whole new complete trial. Like this never happened.
That would be best
Yeah.
for me, I believe, because we need to start from the beginning, and as far as appeals go, basically I need to take that transcript and I need to go through it, and I need to find where the errors were made specifically, and then make that argument based on the transcript instead of starting at the beginning
Right,
of
you
what
have to
all
have a
happened.
transcript to appeal. That's what I'm saying. I'm curious to see what they're going to do here, because this is a topic that's going on all over the country, is these municipal courts, and whether or not they're courts of record. And if they're not a court of record, then it's like nothing is happening at all, right? And they're just convicting everybody. You think that it's a real court, but actually it's just pretend, basically. And if you appeal, then you find out there's nothing to appeal because there's no record.
Yeah. And then I
Hopefully
guess
that's what's going on here.
I guess I would be stuck at that point, or it would be some kind of alternative attempt at getting a lawsuit initiated for it not being on record. But
But that'd be nice. But
I
you
haven't-
just start over and you get a new hearing.
I had to apply for my third public defender. So I'm going to be getting another public defender through the city of Arvada. And he's going to be helping me out through the appeal. I'm not going to be
They
trying
gave you a
to.
lawyer?
They're going to give me another one. So
Okay,
this will be
yeah,
my
yeah,
third
yeah.
one. I had
Yeah.
one who didn't want to help me. He was just gaslighting me, trying to backdoor me about making deals with like a public defender. I walked in one time and I heard him say, "I'm not going to trial on this." And I don't know if he was talking about me, but it seemed like he was talking about me because my case was next. And he also complained to the judge that they only assign him like an $800 allowable payment to him or whatever, which is like very, very low for a public defender. So he's not putting a whole lot of time and effort to it. And he complained to the first judge when I asked him to withdraw based on his performance. And he was complaining, "Oh, I'm not getting paid enough." This public defender that I dealt with, he was pretty good, but now we're gonna get a whole nother one.
Okay, well, I'm going to knock the live off of here, Kings. But, hey, we appreciate you following through, man. You know?
You guys showed up and showed out in some force, and I appreciate that. So,
Yeah, no worries. So,
Force
here we
a camera.
go. We're out. Hopefully this will turn out to be the right thing. You got anything to say, Bros? Yeah. Well done.
Peace.
Peace. There we go. Okay, we're out of here. Keep rocking in the free world, guys.